So it's Friday afternoon, and we're headed to Muncie, Indiana, to Muncie Dragway for the big end banger put on by MAK TV, Mid-America Customs, and Team 260 out of Indiana. Great group of guys that put on some killer races over there. And tonight, it looked like there were going to be 64 cars. Saturday was looking like rain, so this was our shot for the weekend, a Friday night shootout. We couldn't wait to get there. So as we were packing up, Molly was getting ready to take her Mustang to a car meet Friday night in Columbus. So Billy was making some final adjustments and helping her get the car ready. She was cleaning the wheels and tires up and putting the final touches on the Mustang before she left.
Okay, good news is they got a second chance race tonight, first round losers. We're worried about
Pepsi to go.
Thank you. Jeans for Tommy, in case he gets cold.
Live and text me when you know who's going to be live.
I'm on it.
Thank you.
I love you. All right, guys, so we're here at Muncie, Indiana, Muncie Dragway, and Billy is 23rd pair down. I'm not sure what lane that is. I think he said left. I'm not sure. I went up and looked at the track a little while ago. We're running the track the correct way, but from the quarter mile down. And it's blacktop asphalt. There's not much there. It's pretty much virgin. I think we've got a good tune-up based on our test spot back at home. It's pretty close to it. I think we're going to be all right. We'll see.
What do you think, Tig? Better than Dig or Die?
Yeah, it's better than Dig or Die.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it'll take rubber like, that much, but it's not as like coarse, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely not as coarse as Dig or Die, but it is water burnout, so it's not gonna get too sticky. Hopefully, we can go A to B this pass. I'm putting a lot of boost in it up top, so let's see if it takes
As
it.
long as you go into it with no wheel speed, I think it'll be okay.
I think so too.
So you got first round out of the way. You had that little gray Mustang, and it looked in the video like when you went through the finish line, the truck was just a little bit out of the groove to the left. Did it drive to the left a little bit?
It just drove to the left a little. I wasn't gonna try to overcorrect it or anything. I just kind of like to let it go where it wants.
Because before we went up there for first round, I was watching everybody in the left-hand lane, and I think I came back and told you there's a lot of cars losing the tire at about 300 feet. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Did you make an adjustment?
I did. When you told me that people were losing the tire at 300 feet, I ended up taking power out of it around 300 feet and waiting until the shift to start adding power.
Okay.
So
because
I took probably 5 pounds of boost out of it in that area.
Wow, that's a big one.
That's big.
So, I mean, and even though you did that, it still drove to the left, which that's what everybody was doing. Everybody I was watching in the left-hand lane would drive to the left at 300 feet and they'd get out of the groove, white smoke the tire, and they'd have to abort the run.
Yeah, it had a little bit of wheel speed, but not much.
But the left-hand lane, I think, was getting better every round.
It definitely was getting better.
So second round, who'd you draw?
Second round, we drew Brandon Smith.
Brandon Smith.
He's a super cool kid. just put this car together. I think it was
Oh,
his 12th
yes,
pass.
yes. Don't those, they're on a Top Fuel team.
Yeah, I think they're a Top Fuel or a Funny Car team, one or the other. He's
So Brandon nearly took your head clean off at the shoulders.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know the car. I didn't know
Nobody did.
really who he was. but,
Nobody did, because that was the first time he'd ever had that car at a track at a no prep.
Yeah, he had me fooled because when we drew chips, his buddies act like when we drawed each other, they were like, "Oh, you're screwed, dude." You know what I mean? They thought his trip was over. You know?
Well, they honestly didn't know. I mean, they really didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but that car made a lick, and
He made a really good pass, and he guessed at the light.
yeah, his draggy showed 2 or 3 tenths slower than mine, but I think the advantage at the starting line and the fact that our passes looked nearly the same until the last 100 feet, that's probably what, made it so close.
Now, in all honesty, I feel personally that entire trip over there was worth it specifically because of that round. Because had it not been for him trying to cut your head clean off, guessing the light, and making that incredible pass, you would have never thrown that much boost to that truck.
Yeah, it was on 28 or 9 pounds right there below the carburetor, and above the carburetor it was probably 36. So that was probably the most I've ever had it on. And it actually picked the left front up and carried it through the finish line. It was kind of like dancing. And I've always thought it was doing that sometimes when I'm on that much boost or close to that much boost, but I've never had proof of it.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like it wants to flip over backwards once it gets above 120, 130. I feel like it's somewhat due to the wing on the back that we've got now in the wicker bill.
Right. I mean, we've made some adjustments to the truck that we, in all honesty, we have never found the edge of what this thing will take out the back. We haven't found it yet.
Once it gets in high gear, this thing is always just ate up any power you throw at it. It's just getting it out of low gear is where we struggle.
Yeah, we're struggling from 60 foot to 250 feet. We struggle in that area. Like, we're just laying there on the converter until we get it into high gear. But once you throw that thing in high gear, look out.
Yeah.
And we have not yet, like, that's the most boost we've ever had that thing on, even on a glued track or a no prep track or anything, like anywhere.
Yeah, I think once we get this new carburetor on there and it's right, I mean, that'll be a big difference too when I've got less restriction and everything, and it's not just, I'm not just working the hot side, I'm getting the air through the cold side too.
So that was a big deal.
Yeah, it was big. I wasn't sure if I had beat him at first, but I was just holding on, and I grabbed it. I couldn't hardly see his car. It's dark and his car's black. I could just see a side marker out there about a car ahead of me. And I put it in high, and it wasn't moving fast enough to get there before the cone. And that track is only 600 feet. So I was like, we better get going soon. So I grabbed it and held on.
But see, you've never grabbed it that early, have you? I mean, maybe against Kendall.
I've grabbed it against Kendall. I grabbed it against Billy Goat, but I've never had that much on it, plus that much programmed in it. I think I commanded like 44 pounds of boost. Or I commanded 44 pounds of dome pressure, I should say. And I think the most I've done before that was 38. So, pretty wild.
So that sets you up, what, third round with Sherm, right, in the green Chevy?
Yeah, we drew Sherm Baker in the 3rd round, and me and Sherm have raced several times, and it's been back and forth. I think he beat me once on nitrous, and I beat him twice since he's been turbo.
And the last time we ran him was where? At 10 grander, right, in the final?
Yeah, at Magnolia in that 10 grander.
So tell me about that run with Sherm.
So the run with Sherm, I think he was really good on the light there. I don't know if he was guessing or if he ate his Wheaties that morning or what, but he drilled me on the light, and he's not supposed to do that because he's like 70 years old. He's not supposed to drill me on the light like that, but he did, and he got out there on me, and I knew I had a bunch of boost programmed in it in high gear, so I just waited patiently. And I crept up on him, and then I drove away from him a little bit. He said that he tried to grab his scramble, and it just made a bunch of noise. I think he said his converter is too loose or something. I don't know.
So just to clarify, you went ahead and programmed in the boost into the controller that you had added on the scramble in the 2nd round against that black Mustang, correct?
Right. And it went pretty much the same mile an hour on that pass, and it had a little bit better ET because I put a little bit more in the mid-range.
Okay.
I left the 60-foot alone there.
Yeah. So that was a good lick. Didn't have to grab the scramble because it was already programmed in.
Yep.
We knew what the truck would take out the back, and instead of just letting it go and grabbing the scramble if you needed it, you programmed that into it gradually. Yes, instead of blasting it all at once. The truck picked up a little bit. It went a little bit faster. You didn't have to grab the scramble.
Yep.
But Sean Fensler showed his cards.
Yeah, Fensler was making killer passes all night, and I knew if I was going to end up having to race him, I was going to have to go faster. So I kept trying to get faster in the 60-foot, trying to pick up ET anywhere I could. I thought my mile an hour would be fine, but I felt like my short track, my first
60 foot to 200 feet.
I felt like even the 60 foot could have been better. So I turned it up a little bit against Eric.
So to clarify, I guess we weren't really that worried about Eric's car and what he was doing, but we were trying to use Eric's pass to gather data to get a hold of Fensler in the final if that occurred, or the next round if that occurred.
Yeah, I probably could have left the tune-up alone for Eric, but that wouldn't have gave me any type of information as to what I needed to do against Fensler.
Because we could clearly see that although Fensler guessed the light or whatever he did, I don't know whether Kendall was late and Fensler guessed it, or Fensler hit it and Kendall was just late. Whatever the combination there was, it looked really bad on video. And anytime that you put a gap on a car like Kendall going that bad, that rattles everybody back there. It's like, holy crap, what did I just see,
Well, honestly, he did really good. And when he beat Kendall, he pretty much scared everybody else, and everybody else started turning their cars up. I think even Nick in the final, Schoolboy, turned his car up and lost 0.3. He did the same thing I did. And it was all because he just beat Kendall. Yeah. It was a chain reaction of people turning their cars up a little bit, and it bit everybody.
So I'm really proud of Billy and how he did this. He had the truck wicked up in the 60 foot and the 330. Now, as he left the starting line, he knew that he was in a little bit of trouble. He could feel the wheel speed coming in. As the boost ramp closes in, you see the steering wheel turn left and then right, and he knows the boost ramp's closing in. He knows what's about to happen. And rather than risk putting the truck into the guardrail, he lets Eric get the win, and we race another day.
lost the tire.
Yeah,
Didn't like that 8 degrees I put in it.
that's all right.
So, I mean, that's a rough way to lose. At least we lost Eric, our buddy, right?
I
I'd
mean, honestly, it sucks a lot to lose to Eric. I really, it doesn't matter.
it would suck even more to lose to one of the Indiana guys.
Maybe, you know, nobody likes losing to Eric. You know what I mean? It's Eric. You know, I remember 3 years ago when he forgot to put oil in his Mustang and drove it all the way here and blew it up in the parking lot of a car meet. Like, that wasn't that long ago. So every time I lose to him, I think about that. I lost to that guy.
But it's whatever. You know, we learned a lot, right? We learned definitely with absolute certainty the truck cannot stand an ounce of wheel speed.
Yeah,
the first 60 feet.
I kind of, you know, looking back, I wish I wouldn't have changed the 60 foot. I wish I would have just added power boost after 60 feet, you know, in that mid-range area. It really didn't need to hit the tire any harder looking back. I thought it was hitting the tire soft. I didn't watch any of the videos really because Tommy was filming the rest of class. It would help if I had another person there on a cell phone to do slow motion. That way I could see the tire.
Maybe that's what I need to work on is from now on.
Yeah, if you watch like Kendall and Justin, as soon as Justin lines him up, he gets back, slow motion on the tire. I could use that. That would definitely help.
All right, so I'll start doing that next time. But we learned with that 100% certainty, we can't have any wheel speed in the first 60 feet. It just kills the entire run. You might as well just throw it in the trash.
I knew that going into it, but I didn't think it would have any wheel speed. I thought it was hitting the tire soft enough as it is.
And the air wasn't that good. It was what, like 3,700 feet?
Earlier in the day, but it got down to 2,900 on that last pass.
So we learned something, right?
Yeah, we learned. Definitely learned. I think we're going to make some changes. We might change the first gear ratio in the Power Glide. I think Dion's ordered me a special gear set for it, so maybe we'll be able to put more power in it in the first half of the track with this new gear set.
Okay, so this weekend it's what, Marion?
Yeah, Battle of 28s at Marion. We might go. I think that's probably where we'll end up at.
Okay.
I think they're doing a stick shift class too, so if Molly gets to feeling froggy, she might enter that.
Cool. All right, man.
We're out. Thank you.
I love you, buddy.
Love you too.